Hi, welcome back. We finalize our month dedicated to the environment by talking about the environment and COVID, how COVID impacted the environment, and what the future would be after COVID. So stick around. And let's finalize this November dedicated to the environment and talk about COVID and how COVID impacted the environment. First of all, I would like to apologize for my voice and my watery eyes, etc. But I'm currently suffering from hay fever, and that's why I've got all this redness in my face, etc., etc. I do apologize for that, and I will try to do my best to have my voice as clear as possible. So let's talk environment. COVID came and altered basically all aspects of our lives. We don't work the way we used to. We don't do things the way we used to. And basically, all aspects of our life were changed with COVID because we had to be in lockdown, because we couldn't or we cannot meet people like we used to. And all of that has had a great impact in our lifestyles and in our life in general, but it also had an impact on the planet, which, in my view, has not been as negative as the negative impact that, in fact, has had in our lives. With the lockdowns, obviously, we stopped using our cars, we stopped using public transport, we stopped using a lot of things, and with less cars on the road and a reduction of the number of transport available because there was no need, there was no demand for it. There was also a slight reduction in greenhouse emissions, which was a great thing. However, this was a temporary thing, and we cannot think that just because we had a slight good result in 2020 that we should be complacent, and not do anything to keep changing and actually achieve real results, because this was just a temporary measure that was put in place in order to help us fight this pandemic. So if we actually can say anything about this pandemic, or if we actually can find a positive aspect about this pandemic, maybe this is it. It had a good impact on the environment because there was a little reduction on the greenhouse emissions that we produced. And how can we use this little positive aspect to take some lessons and perhaps change our lifestyles and change the way we do things in order not only to have a much more positive outcome for the planet, but a much more pleasant and positive outcome for ourselves. For example, some workers are still working from home. In fact, this has been one of the bigger revolutions that was brought by COVID. A lot of companies are actually realizing that it is possible. Employees are happy with it. A lot of people are happy to work from home and really wish to continue working from home. Obviously, there's always other employees that don't really enjoy working from home, and that's okay. And those will probably be the ones that will be happy to go back to the office. But a lot of employees are working from home, and they will remain working from home. And with this, we can look at ways of doing things that actually will benefit everyone, and use the negatives that happen to make changes and turn them into positives. For example, the fact that people are working from home is good because there would be less cars on the road and less pollution. So this will be great if we continue this trend of not using the car as much. Of course, that's always a positive. Then there's the aspect of turning the very negative aspects of COVID in positive aspects in the future. For example, there were a lot of businesses that unfortunately fell because obviously they couldn't survive the closures and the lockdowns, etc. There's unfortunately thousands of people that lost their jobs, and that's a very, very, very sad aspect of COVID and one of the most negative ones. And this obviously has taken a toll on everyone, not only the mental health aspect of being in lockdown and not being able to socialize and things like that, but losing our job or losing our business or something like that. It's terrible, and it has a huge toll on people. But we can always, and there's always the need, and that's why I always say that an entrepreneur has always to be creative and has always to be thinking ahead and having good ideas and reinventing themselves, because that's how we do. That's how you survive. So I think, for example, a good way of trying to make all these horrible events, all those horrible aspects of COVID and all this negative impact that it brought upon us, we can use this and can revert this back to a positive. For example, all the employees, all these people that unfortunately lost their jobs due to COVID, governments should start looking at this and see this as an opportunity of making the change, because there's a lot of people that are unemployed at the moment, and that would be great if we could give these people the opportunity of do some training and change, do a career change, for example, and start working in other industries that are in the renewables, for example. And that would be good, because it would be a transition. Yes, we needed a transition, but maybe with this pandemic and with so many people unfortunately out of job, maybe there's an opportunity to accelerate this transition and start funding the business of the future and start thinking of the future. And maybe governments could participate in training programs, helping people to start new businesses, helping people to convert their businesses into a more environmentally friendly business, into more energy efficient businesses. And that would be good for everyone, because if a business is energy efficient, obviously that business would pollute less, would have less costs, and would be more effective and more efficient. And therefore, it would be a positive for everyone, including the environment. If people have the opportunity of having a new training and start a new career, it's like starting fresh, and it's obviously an opportunity for everyone, regardless of their age. I don't think we should look at this and look at just people below the 35 years. I think it should be an opportunity that should be given to everyone, because unfortunately there's a lot of people above 35 years that lost their job, and they also need to put food on the table, and I think they should also have an opportunity such as anyone else. So I think this is what we should learn from COVID. We should see all these negative things, all these businesses that close down, and help them to reinvent themselves and make the transition to a greener business, and to the people that unfortunately lost their jobs, make that transition for them too. There's new opportunities to be grabbed, basically new business opportunities and new job opportunities. So if there's a new business that is starting out and need employees, there's a lot of people unemployed that need a job. Give them that opportunity and create courses, create adequate training, so these people can happily fill these gaps, fill these vacancies, and have a job, working something that not only is putting food on their table, but also is helping the environment and making our planet much better. So I think, yes, 2020 was a horrible year. Yes, 2020 and COVID was something really negative that decimated a lot of industries and unfortunately put thousands of people out of work. But we really need to focus on the future. We really need to see what we can do in order to revert these negatives into positives, keep going, and if we have the chance, we could also help the environment. And if we can do that, I think it would be the biggest positive that we can get from 2020. And that's all for today. I hope you like our conversation of today and the ideas that I have discussed. But if you have any suggestions, any new ideas, why not? Please leave me a comment. Let's start a conversation. Share with us, so we may have here a few ideas to propose to the leaders of the world. Why not? Share with your friends. Share with your friends so we make our conversations even bigger, and subscribe the channel and you get a notification of a new conversation every week. Next week we start a new month and we will talk about health and well-being. I have a little surprise for you. Our videos will be totally different from what they've been until now. So stay tuned and see you next week. Thank you so very much for watching. Bye.